Now at 9, the third annual Forged in Fire Face-Off in Quapaw, Oklahoma. KOAM Shagun Bamagele has the story. Plus, Carthage, Missouri's water and electric plant hosts a 5K and 1 mile fun run and walk in honor of Drinking Water Week. Friday afternoon on a I-34 claims the life of a Neosho, Missouri man.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Bladesmiths from across the country gathered in Quapaw, Oklahoma for the highly anticipated third annual Forged in the Fire Face-Off. KOAM Shagun Bamagele has more.
The event held on Main Street in Quapaw showcased the skills and craftsmanship of talented artisans in the world of bladesmithing.
We got master smiths and knife makers from the 4-state area around here. We're having knife judging. We're doing some competitions, a little grudge match, a knife show, just a good little get together.
The knife forging event brought out the young and old of the Quapaw community.
We like this event because we're able to give the community a chance to meet some of these celebrities from the show and to get a chance to see what they do in person, and a big chance to see what they have when they sell what they sell.
There were several types of knives that were showcased.
Of knives here, there's everyday carry type knives, bowie knives, there is stock removal knives, forged knives. There's a lot of forged knives here. Master Smith Ray Kirk's going to be doing some demonstrations. It's a really fun event.
Phil Evans, a veteran of a popular knife forging TV show, Forged in Fire, says it is great to see young blacksmiths.
It's really neat being on somebody that was on the first season of Forged in Fire, and now I think we're on season 9 or 10, and there's people here that are up and coming on season 10. They're actually at this show, and there might even be some future Forged in Fire champions here right now.
In Quapaw, Shagun Bamagele, KOAM News.
The event was free to the public. Rattle Designs in Joplin hosts Old School Flash Day. This event is to celebrate and appreciate the style of American traditional tattoos that reaches back to the birth of Western tattooing. Coffee and tacos were available while waiting to get a little chunk of tattoo history.
So it's kind of a celebration of the style as well. American traditional, it's part of these guys' culture, and it's the first thing that they really learned. It's the first technique that they learned. So it's kind of nostalgic for them as well, and cool for them to be able to stretch that out again.
You can see more on this style of tattooing. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Carthage, Missouri, a water and electric plant hosts a 5K and 1 mile fun run and walk in honor of Drinking Water Week. This week brings awareness to the Carthage community about the benefits of tap water, that a safe and reliable water supply is crucial to the success of any community. The event is given the unique opportunity for the water professionals and the community to come together as they join to recognize the important role water plays in our daily lives.
And this run is to bring awareness to Water for People, which is an organization that exists to promote the development of high-quality drinking water and sanitation services to those all over the world. We run, and all the proceeds are donated to that cause.
The nonprofit Water for People helps water quality and sanitation across 9 countries. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office hosts Safety Day. This family fun day brings awareness to what the men and women do to protect the community. Gun safety, SWAT, and K9 demos were just a few of the activities going on, as well as face painting, shaved ice, and bounce houses for the kids.
Last day and the graduation for the academy. Basically, it's an opportunity for people to, for one day a week, come in and kind of get a little better understanding of what it is that we do at the Sheriff's Office. They get to take a tour of the jail, they get to shoot some firearms, they get some demonstrations from detectives and patrol units and things like that.
Of course, you can learn more about the graduation for the Academy. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for a first look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Carrie. We have some thunderstorms rolling through the area right now, basically along I-44 in southwestern Missouri, and that extends down into northern Oklahoma around Bartlesville. Right now, zooming in on some of the activity closer to home, you can see from Mount Vernon over to Aurora, Monette, Sarcoxie, moving through Neosho, and now starting to move into the southern parts of Joplin right now as well, and other scattered storms from Nowata to Oshaleta up to Bartlesville and Copan. All of this is drifting towards the north and are starting to decrease in intensity as the evening progresses. We're going to see those showers isolated around 11 o'clock tonight, with temperatures dropping through the 60s down to about 64 in the morning. And looking down the lane, we're going to have more scattered thunderstorms tomorrow, then a little bit of a drier period in our forecast, and then storms return on Friday with near normal temperatures, and I'll have all the details coming up in just a little while.
Thanks, Sam. Missouri State Highway Patrol released details regarding a 10-vehicle collision Friday afternoon on I-44 that claimed the life of a Neosho man. The chain reaction rear-ended crash occurred at 4:45 p.m. on I-44 west, about 2 miles west of Mount Vernon. 9 of the vehicles involved were in a stopped traffic approaching bridge work at the Fairset Branch double bridges. The chain reaction crash started as a tractor trailer driven by Patrick Joyner, 53 of Jefferson, Georgia, struck the Neosho man vehicle from behind. Roger Alexander, 37 of Neosho, was driving a 2015 BMW 5501. He was airlifted to emergency Springfield. He was pronounced at 6:50 p.m. Next of kin are notified. The crash report reveals 3 others involved suffered minor injuries and 1 moderate injuries. All were transported to Mercy Joplin for care. This MoDOT project will endure until June. Traffic crashes have occurred numerous times. However, this is the first known fatality crash. The Treasury Department says the government will slam into the debt ceiling in early June unless Congress acts. But what is the debt ceiling? Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram explains what the debt ceiling is and the consequences of lawmakers failing to act.
It's easy to doze off when you hear the term debt ceiling, but the consequences of a debt ceiling collision are anything but a sleeper.
Out of sight, out of mind. Like I wouldn't know anything about it if you didn't say anything about it.
They'll figure it out. They always do.
It's just a manufactured issue.
However, the debt ceiling issue is very real. The government has a credit card. Congress extends the line of credit. The limit is the debt ceiling. The Treasury Department uses the credit card, but it lacks spending power if it hits the debt ceiling, and Congress doesn't extend the credit line.
There's going to be a day, possibly in early June, when that checking account is in danger of running out, and there's simply not going to be enough money in it on some given day to pay all of the obligations that are due that day.
That means hundreds of thousands of federal workers don't get paid, potentially the military. Benefit checks delayed.
I'm a little worried about if I'm going to get my Social Security, for sure.
Treasury decides what checks get cut. And since this is like a credit card and the government is over the limit, Treasury pays the interest first.
It will prioritize interest and principal payments so that it's not strictly defaulting on securities, on Treasury securities, which would roil financial markets.
A market meltdown could spike interest rates and wreck the economy.
So if there's no progress in the debt ceiling talks, are you worried about a default? Are you worried about the markets, Mr. Speaker?
I think there's a real risk that external forces, whether it's being downgraded or a market response, could make this situation worse.
Rates for car loans and home mortgages could jump long term because a federal default robs the system of fiscal trust. And an important note, a default is not a government shutdown. A shutdown comes when Congress doesn't fund the government. In this case, Congress funded the government on paper, but the government is out of cash. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
California Democratic senior Dianne Feinstein is back to casting votes on the Senate floor for the first time in nearly 3 months, following a prolonged absence because of shingles. California Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein is back to casting votes on the Senate floor for the first time in nearly 3 months, following a prolonged absence because of shingles. When asked for an update on her health, she departed Capitol Hill Thursday. Feinstein told reporters, quote, "I'm doing very well, actually," as she was assisted in a wheelchair. She was hospitalized due to her illness, making it more difficult for Democrats to confirm judges, approve nominations made by the president, and pass legislation while she was gone. Several Democrats and her critics called for Feinstein's resignation as a result. At 89 years old, Feinstein is the oldest sitting senator and the longest serving senator from her state. Although she is back to work in Washington, she intends to keep a lighter schedule as she recovers. Feinstein plans to retire from Congress at the end of her term in 2024. A new study finds an experimental skin patch is showing promise in treating toddlers with severe peanut allergies. While there are options for peanut allergy sufferers over the age of 4, up until now, there's been almost nothing that can be done to help allergic toddlers. But now there's a patch called Viaskin for 1 to 3-year-olds that delivers peanut protein to the skin. According to a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine Wednesday, the patch helped those who couldn't tolerate even a small fraction of peanut to eventually safely eat a few. Still more research is underway before regulators will consider the patch. There's no cure for a peanut allergy, and it's one of the most common food allergies. Mother's Day is tomorrow, and while it's custom to get your mother or mother figure a gift, behavioral health experts say moms should also be rewarding themselves with some TLC. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has the latest on their recommendations, plus if it's true that moms really do have a favorite child.
Data collected by the Pew Research Center finds that mothers are more likely than fathers to say yes, being a parent is both tiring and stressful. Mothers are also more likely to feel judged when it comes to how they raise their kids.
We have everything else on the schedule, our children's extracurricular activities and their homework deadlines. We've got our partners' activities on there as well.
That's why this Mother's Day, behavioral scientists say moms need to make time for self-care a big priority.
Scheduling in 5 minutes to do a quick meditation or to have a walk. We think, oh, we'll do it anyway at some point. But if it's not in the schedule, are we really going to do it?
But while many moms acknowledge how demanding their roles are, research from Purdue University finds some mothers also recognize that they do, in fact, have a favorite child.
Looking at childhood and adolescence, definitely mothers do favor some children over others, not intentionally. They're also willing to identify the children with whom they have the most conflict and the child in whom they are the most disappointed.
Meanwhile, researchers say adult children who think they're the favorite should think twice.
When we look at what mothers report, we find that adult children are right less than half the time.
And when it comes to showering mothers with gifts, well, the National Retail Federation says shoppers will spend more than $35 billion on presents this Mother's Day. And yes, in case you're wondering, that is a new record. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
All right, Sam Lane is up next with a complete look at the forecast. And Crowder is up against St. Charles for the Region's 16th Baseball Championship. Brock Ballridge will have the highlights in sports.
Well, it's been stormy the last few days across the 4 states, including today, but we're going to take the rainfall while we can get it. Let's take a look outside at Seneca, Missouri this morning. As we go through the day, you can see on the time lapse at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, we had rain this morning and then it cleared out, and cumulus clouds developed this afternoon, and then some thunderstorms rolled in from the south to the north. And you can see the parking lot got wet once again down in Seneca, Missouri. The allergies have been bad today, 9.7. Tomorrow a little bit better, and that's mainly because of the rain washing a lot of that out. And most of that is mulberry, oak, and walnut pollens. Temperature today made it up to 82 degrees after starting out at 63, which was above the normals of 76 and 55. And look at that. We're actually ahead on the rainfall for the month of May, but we're still behind almost 4 inches for the year. So we do have some catching up to do. And of course, we've been dealing with the drought, and unfortunately the dry conditions are now starting to expand into southwestern Missouri and northwest Arkansas again. But I think we're going to put a dent in this as we go over the next couple of days. In fact, we made a huge dent last night up to the north and west in Fredonia and near Parsons, with some places picking up several inches of rainfall in a very short period of time. So everyone got a little bit of rain last night. Right now, we do have some rain on the radar. Look at this. These storms develop down to the south and then migrate towards the north. And we have some pretty strong storms now on the eastern side of the metro area, right now near Avila and Red Oak and La Russell, moving towards the north. So you folks in Golden City and Lockwood are going to be experiencing that thunderstorm and lightning show over the next half hour. You can also see the rain extending all the way back down towards Carl Junction. Another area of storms right now on radars near Havana and Caney, Kansas, which of course they're needing the rain really bad, and also just to the west of Coffeyville. That's moving up towards Rutland and Independence. And wider view shows a big upper level low on the western side of the country, generating this shower and storm activity over us, but the ridge is going to start building back in, so the rain chances are going to start decreasing in our forecast. But temperatures right now are in the 70s, and right now, taking a look outside on our tower cam, you can see the lightning show in the distance, 70 degrees with a dew point of 63, 78% on the humidity. Stronger storms tomorrow are going to be across eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas, and also up towards the north and east. Not really expecting a lot of severe weather, and that continues into tomorrow, especially for southern Illinois, western Kentucky, and western Tennessee. Rain chances are going to be right around 40% tonight and tomorrow. Rainfall amounts are going to be generous once again in isolated spots, maybe an inch or so. Most areas around a third to half an inch of rainfall in our forecast. And here's the forecast for tonight: lows in the 60s. And then tomorrow, as we go through the day, we're going to see temperatures rising into the 70s with scattered showers and storms once again across the area. And that will continue into the overnight hours, especially up towards the north and to the west. And looking at the next 7 days, we're looking at rain chances tomorrow and then again on Monday, and then decreasing until about Friday when we have more chances of storms at that point in time. Carrie?
All right, people in Orlando want to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." We'll tell you why next. People in Orlando want to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with a Major League Baseball team in their city. A group called the Orlando Dreamers unveiled designs for a possible stadium Tuesday. Some initial roadblocks to an Orlando-based team include its proximity to two other Major League teams, the Tampa Bay Rays nearby and the Miami Marlins further south. But the man leading the Orlando effort argues the tourist pool and rate of growth in Central Florida makes the idea of a home run. The potential stadium would be near SeaWorld and it estimated to cost about $2 billion. A man in Minnesota builds a motorcycle that runs on a liquid you buy at the bar rather than at a gas station. Fox Maury Glover talks to the inventor about the latest work.
The people who know me, they always kind of expect something a little bit different from me that comes out of the shop.
Over the years, Kai Michelson has made everything from a rocket-powered toilet to a jet-powered coffee pot. But his latest creation is making a different kind of buzz.
One thing about this motorcycle is definitely different. And I like to be really creative, do things that other people have never done in the past.
Michelson has built what he believes is the world's first beer-powered motorcycle in his garage in Bloomington. Michelson says instead of a gas engine, the bike has a 14-gallon keg with a heating coil inside. So when he pours beer into the keg, the liquid heats up to 300 degrees.
Start a fire in 3, 2, 1.
And when it goes out the nozzles in the back, the beer turns into superheated steam, which provides enough thrust to move the bike forward.
The price of gas, it's getting up there. I don't drink. I'm a non-drinker, so I can't think of anything better than to use it for fuel.
Michelson says he hasn't taken his homemade motorcycle out on the road just yet, but he has entered it into a few local car shows where it has won first place. And while the Rocket Man, as he is nicknamed, has traded horsepower for hops power, he believes his motorcycle could reach speeds up to 150 miles per hour.
Yeah, it could be any kind of liquid. It could be Red Bull, it can be Caribou coffee, it could be anything, but beer, why not?
Michelson plans to test his beer-powered motorcycle on a drag strip sometime soon. But after a few demonstrations, it will probably end up in the museum in his house. His bike may be more of a boozer than a cruiser, but Michelson believes his unusual invention has raised the bar.
But we're right in the early stages, but we got it running, we got it built, and I think it looks pretty cool.
Police officers encountered a wild situation, apparently with an angry goat. We'll tell you more next. Police officers can encounter some wild situations, including apparently an angry goat. Two officers in Oklahoma who responded to a call for help discovered the person making all that noise was actually a goat. Body cam footage shows the officers running on a farm, fearing someone who was possibly hurt or trapped under the equipment. Until they reached the source of that noise, it turns out the goat was upset that it had gotten separated from its friends. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, a boxing match was held in honor of the lost Ukrainian soldiers in their war with Russia. The Biden administration is trying to put the best face possible on the border crisis, but it is reacting angrily to a court decision which could hamstring the president's plan to give illegal immigrants a smooth avenue into the U.S. Fox News White House correspondent Jackie Hendricks is on the North Lawn with the latest.
It's sabotage. It's pure and simple. That's how that reads to us.
The Biden administration says they'll fight to release migrants into U.S. communities after a judge sided with Florida's attorney general.
Florida uncovered a memo, a secret memo that was issued to Border Patrol saying when we get overrun, when Title 42 expires, your direction is open the gates, let them in. No processing, no vetting, no court date. And this was a year ago. They had a year.
But the White House is now under more pressure after admitting a 17-year-old migrant died in U.S. custody Wednesday. Honduran officials now calling for an investigation, saying Angel Eduardo Maradiga Espinoza had been in custody for 5 days before he died in a shelter for unaccompanied minors in Safety Harbor, Florida.
So reaction to a migrant child?
No comment from President Biden, who tweeted in 2019 when migrant kids died under Trump's watch, "It's unacceptable, it's not who we are, and silence is complicity." But serious questions remain.
Can you tell us how many migrant children are presently in U.S. custody?
I would refer you to the HHS. I don't have those numbers in front of me.
The site has not reported any data on this since January, and they're typically reported once a month.
I expect the HHS to provide that data.
The absence of that count, which in January stood at 7,500, more alarming after the New York Times reported Health and Human Services lost contact with 85,000 migrant kids who they placed with sponsors over the last 2 years. But the White House did prepare to answer questions about the debt limit, rolling out infrastructure czar Mitch Landrieu to warn projects will grind to a halt, including in Republican states, if the U.S. defaults.
The foundation of a strong economy is literally our country's infrastructure.
Biden plans to meet with congressional leaders again next week before he leaves for Asia. And right now we're hearing there are some areas of agreement, including perhaps clawing back the unused COVID funds or on permitting reform. But the White House is fighting any efforts to roll back Biden's signature programs like student loan forgiveness or the Inflation Reduction Act. And they're aiming to limit any spending cuts to just the next 2 years, something Republican members of Congress doubt could get enough votes to pass. At the White House, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
All right, meteorologist Sam Lane joins us with a look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Carrie. We've got some thunderstorms rolling through the metro area right now, basically right along I-44 from Springfield right through the Joplin metro area and extending also back towards the west. Zooming in on some of the stronger storms, you can see that near Diamond and Sarcoxy moving towards the north. So if you live between Sarcoxy and Fidelity, that's where the strongest storm is right now with most of the intense lightning. No severe weather right now, and that's good news. Other strong storm near Bartlesville and Copan moving towards the north up to the west of Coffeyville. And we're going to be seeing those showers this evening, and then by later on tonight they should be falling apart with temperatures dropping through the 60s to around 64 by morning. Looking down the lane, we have more scattered thunderstorms in the forecast, a drier period, and also some thunderstorms on Friday, and that will be followed by near normal temperatures. And of course, I'll have all the details coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. A boxing tournament was held in Kharkiv, Ukraine today to honor soldiers who had taken part in the country's war with Russia. The soldiers are known as the heroes of Kharkiv defense. Athletes from Ukraine's Olympic team and representatives from Kharkiv's boxing community took part in the competition. The boxing ring was set up on the platform of a subway station and 10 fights were held. Hundreds of local residents turned out. It was the first sporting event of this scale since the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine almost 15 months ago. A subway station was chosen for the match because it was considered a relatively safe area. A jury found Idaho mother Lori Vallow Daybell guilty in connection to the murders of her two youngest children and her husband's first wife. Fox News correspondent Madeline Riviera reports on the case.
A bittersweet victory for the grandparents of Joshua J.J. Vallow. Surrounded by supporters chanting "We Will Rock You," one of J.J.'s favorite songs, the two celebrated the unanimous guilty verdict for J.J.'s mother, Lori Vallow Daybell, who's accused of killing the 7-year-old and her other child, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan.
J.J., I love you.
Vallow Daybell was indicted in May 2021 on charges including murder and conspiracy. The bodies of her children, Tylee and JJ, were found on her husband, Chad Daybell's property the year before. Vallow Daybell was also found guilty of conspiring to kill his first wife, Tammy Daybell. The 6-week trial involved claims the couple had apocalyptic religious beliefs. Prosecutors accused Vallow Daybell of using sex and power to manipulate her brother and lover into carrying out the crimes and get the victim's money. She allegedly collected JJ and Tylee's Social Security benefits for months after their murders. But in their closing arguments, Vallow Daybell's defense team tried to push the blame on her husband.
No one here thinks Lori actually killed anyone. She spent her whole life protecting her children.
JJ's grandparents say the verdict, coming just before Mother's Day weekend, was long overdue.
This is what you call poetic justice.
Vallow Daybell will face a sentencing at a later date. Her husband's trial has not yet been scheduled. Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
It's been decades since the last breakthrough in Parkinson's disease research, but a new test could help doctors detect the disease sooner.
Well, friends, we've had another hot and humid day across the area with scattered showers and thunderstorms, but that's typical for springtime. Let's take a look outside right now at Seneca, Missouri, to Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Things are still wet down there on the pavement as they had a shower earlier this evening, and those showers moved towards the north, infecting or moving into the metro area this evening. Right now, we're looking at allergies. It was pretty bad today, 9.7, but tomorrow's going to be better. Most of that is mulberry, oak, and walnut. This afternoon, we made it up to 82 degrees before the storms rolled in. 63 was the low, which of course was above the normals. And we've added about 0.8 of an inch, or actually 0.08 in addition to the 0.6 we had last night. So we're getting up to around 3/4 of an inch of rain today. And that actually puts us ahead for the month, but still behind for the year. And of course, we've been in a drought situation, and that's continuing right now. You can see the dry conditions are now starting to spread into northwest Arkansas and southwest Missouri. But as we go over the next few days, hopefully we're going to start putting a dent in that. And we're doing a pretty good job of that this evening. You can see scattered showers and storms developing down into the south, and they roll towards the north. We still have some showers now in eastern Jasper County, now moving up into the area around Golden City and also near Red Oak. Quite a bit of lightning with that activity as it rolled in. And then as we look out towards the west, we have more storms near Independence, extending down towards Caney and also into Chautauqua County. And there's more storms back down to the south. So it looks like Chautauqua County will get a pretty good rain here in just a little bit over the next couple of hours. And we're looking at a satellite view showing water vapor loop, big storm system over Arizona, spitting pieces of energy at us, and that's what's keeping the showers and storms going. But the ridge is going to start building back in, and that's going to turn off the rain for a few days as we go through the forecast. But let's enjoy it while we can, with temperatures in the 60s where it has rained, still in the 70s up towards the north and west, like Yates Center with 75. Right now in Joplin at 67, east-southeast wind at 8, 62 on the dew point, 84% on the humidity. We've been watching the lightning off in the distance to the north and east. And tomorrow, there is a risk of severe weather, a marginal risk at that, across northern Missouri to St. Louis, over into the Nashville area and northern Alabama. Not really expecting a whole lot of severe weather in our area, just some good beneficial rainfall. In fact, here's a look at the rain chances. We're going to decrease as we go into the overnight hours, but then pick back up in the afternoon and then continue through the overnight hours as we see those scattered showers and storms continuing. Rainfall amounts are generally going to be around 1/3 to 1/2 inch in most areas if you average it out. Some areas could pick up close to 1 inch in a very short period of time. So that would be certainly welcome news, especially for the folks in southeastern Kansas. Temperatures tonight are going to be dropping down into the 60s with light and variable winds. Then as we go through the day tomorrow, scattered showers and storms again, especially up towards the north with highs in the lower 80s. And then as we go through tomorrow night into Monday morning, we'll see scattered showers with lows in the 60s and more scattered storms on Monday afternoon. How about the next 7-day forecast? Well, scattered showers and storms tomorrow, and then we start turning off the spigot a little bit as we head through the rest of the work week, but storms will be back on Friday and then drier in the early next part of next week.
All right, so tomorrow we'll have PM showers on Mother's Day, so enjoy the day.
Yes, that's right. Enjoy the morning and the early afternoon.
All right, thank you, Sam. Coming up in sports, the Missouri Southern Lions baseball team is competing in the MIAA championship game. Plus, the Crowder Rough Riders are in Joplin looking advanced to districts. Highlights of today's action coming up next in sports.
Well, the MIAA semifinals are underway in Warrensburg, Missouri. Yesterday, the Missouri Southern Lions eliminated their rivals Pittsburgh State. Lions come into today only 1 win away from advancing to the MIAA championship game. Lions had to win in order to get to the MIAA title game, and they did just that, taking down Northeastern State 12-1 in 7 innings. Matt Miller had a big game, going 2 for 5 with a home run and a double. He picks up 3 RBIs. Ethan Clark goes 1 for 4 with a 3-run triple. He also picks up 3 RBIs, and with that win, Missouri Southern advances to the MIAA title game against Central Missouri. So in the MIAA championship game against Central Missouri, it was a complete opposite result. Missouri Southern gets shut out in a blowout. Mules defeat the Lions 15-0. Ethan Clark goes 1 for 3 with a double in this one. Central Missouri wins the MIAA tournament and the regular season title. So Missouri Southern will have to wait out the selection process to see where they will be placed in the NCAA Division II regionals. Well, the Crowder Rough Riders are in Joplin hosting the NJCAA regionals. Rough Riders are only 1 victory away from moving on to districts. Crowder going up against St. Charles will play ball on the campus of Missouri Southern today. This game was originally scheduled to be at Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin, but due to poor field conditions, we moved to Warren Turner Field. So starting in the top of the second inning, no score, Justin Masseline hits a dribbler to Brett Gossman, and he throws it wild to first base. St. Charles gets on the board first, 1-0 Cougars. Rough Riders looking to answer that. They did just that. In the bottom of the second, Colton Reynolds hammers this to left, bounces over the left fielder's head. Joey Morton and Tyler Favoretto come in to score. Crowder takes a 2-1 lead after a 2-run RBI double. So we head to the bottom of the third now. Same score. Joe Reed at the plate, drives this deep to center field, and see you later. Reed is fired up after that 3-run home run. Rough Riders go up 5-2. The Rough Riders go on to win this one 13-2 over St. Charles. Crowder wins Region 16, and they are slated to host districts next weekend. Well, both the Royals and the Cardinals had a much better start to the month of April, or I should say May, than April. Both teams are on the road this weekend for interleague matchups. Cardinals at the Red Sox in Fenway Park, top of the 7th inning, 3-0 Red Sox. Nolan Arenado gets the Redbirds on the board with a moonshot over the Green Monster, solo home run, 5th of the year for Arenado. Cardinals down 3-1 in the top of the 9th. Cardinals down 3-2, bases loaded. St. Louis, Alex Burleson chops this for a double play, right? Wrong. Not so fast, my friend. Wild throw by Kike Hernandez. After that error, Cardinals go up 4-3. This face tells it all. 3-run 9th inning helps St. Louis get the 4-3 win over Boston. Royals in Milwaukee tonight against the Brewers this evening. Kansas City is looking to even the series, but the Brewers win this one. Walk off over the Royals off a sacrifice fly. Series finale is tomorrow afternoon, a 4-3 victory. That's it for sports tonight. We'll be back after this.
It's been decades since the last breakthrough in Parkinson's disease research, but a new test could help doctors detect the disease sooner. Fox News medical contributor Dr. Mark Siegel has more on the new research.
This has really changed our ability to define and diagnose Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's is a neurodegenerative disease that causes involuntary or uncontrolled movements. At age 29, Michael J. Fox, at the height of his stardom, was given the sobering diagnosis.
Incurable. He said, you lose this game. You don't win this.
The new documentary tells his story in the fight against this dreaded disease.
I find it extremely moving, no pun intended, to be here today.
His foundation's mission is to search for early diagnosis, better treatments, and eventually a cure.
He has Parkinson's disease, but it does not define him.
The last huge research breakthrough regarding the dopamine system came in the 1990s, leading to treatments to improve quality of life. But now, a new biomarker can tell if you might one day contract Parkinson's.
We now have a tool that might enable us to identify individuals who are likely going to develop symptoms, but before they develop any symptoms at all.
Can this protein lead to a treatment?
That's the dream. Yes.
Right now, this is a test of spinal fluid. But Dr. Marek told me he expects it to be a blood test that I will be able to order in my office just 6 to 12 months from now. Meanwhile, the Michael J. Fox Foundation is looking for thousands more volunteers on the project to help make the Back to the Future star's dream a reality. An exciting day for medicine. In New York, Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News.
Up next, a giant snappy turtle eats up the viewers' hearts on social media. A giant snappy turtle eats up viewers' hearts on social media. Two kayakers floating down the Chicago River snapped this video of a ginormous turtle lounging on old chains. The men affectionately referred to the creature as Chacosaurus. I think that's right. Chacosaurus. Noting its unusual large size, adding that it, quote, looks good and healthy. Snapping turtle experts say the animal is not picky with what it eats and reminds people to admire the reptile from afar.
No problem.
Yeah, that's healthy turtle.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, tell us what's on weather.
We have some storms in the area right now, and we're going to see storms again tomorrow on a scattered basis, and then the rain chances start to decrease as we head through the work week until we get to about Friday. That's when the rain chances start to go back up once again with scattered thunderstorms, and then dry again next weekend into early part of next week. But at least temperatures are going to be around normal. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s for highs, and then 60s and 50s for the lows.
All right, it's officially AC season.
That's right.
All right, thanks. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us.